केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. Nityanandam, am I audible for everyone? If I am not audible for anyone, Madebbi, am I audible? Balananda? Yes, thank you. So, one announcement for everyone. From today, the class will be for 1 hour Indian Standard Time, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. It will not be for 2 hours. It will be for 1 hour from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. from today onwards. If there is any change in the time later, I'll let you know during the session itself. So, as we saw that the ritual, the yoga is a ritual, and we start it with a Sadguru Vandanam, and we continue the practice of yoga. Following the Sadguru Vandanam, we do the Achamanam. Most of you may know the Achamanam, what we do, because we all have been, many of us have been initiated into the Shivadiksha, and everyday Guru Puja you all do, so you all may know the Achamanam, but still listen to it so that you can correct yourself if at all you were going wrong, or you get trained to enrich others to teach them by teaching them how to do Achamanam. So I am going to share with you a few things. Today I'll tell you, before entering into the alphabets of the Akshara, Sanskrit Akshara, we'll finish off the mantras of the Achamanam, what we do without any practical doing, and why they are being done, what does Agama speak about it, what does Paramashiva speak about it. So we'll go through it once. So I'm just reading out first. Do the Achamanam as follows. First of all, those of you who do not know what an Achamanam is, Achamanam is an act, an action which is a ritualistic cleansing of your mouth, thereby aligns you to the space of your neutrality, aligns you to the space of your Paramashivatva, or in other words, puts you into the unclutched space, thereby removes off the trace of any of the past thoughts or actions, so that you are all fresh to start a new action. Okay, I repeat, Achamanam is an action wherein you sip the water thrice, drink the water thrice, as well as touch the various parts of the body as prescribed in the Agamas by Paramashiva, as a result of which you unclutch from the previous emotions. Your being gets unclutched from the previous emotions, previous thought patterns and currents, and hence you get into a neutral space for you to create a conscious new will and thereby enter into some new other action. Suppose, For example, I am watching a movie. If it is a romantic movie, I watch the movie and I'm moved by the movie. Naturally, the end of the movie is so touching. Immediately after watching the movie, if I have to do anything else, suppose I have to go to my college and immediately I have to go sit for the tuition, or immediately I have to sit for this class, I'll have the hangover of the emotions that are left within me by the movie. Now, before start of this session, before start of the next action, for in this case, start of this session of this class, we need to come out of the hangover of the previous action, so that we can stay focused, we can engage our mind body being completely into the action that we are about to do, and hence the integrity in the action, that whatever we are going to do happens fully. How is this achieved? Here in the Achamanam, we pour 1 spoon. The technical name for that spoon that we are going to use is called Uddharani. And the tumbler, the cup from which we will be taking the water with the so-called spoon, which is called the Uddharani, that cup is called Panchapatram. And you will take it with your left hand and you will pour it in your right hand. You may be a lefty, means you may be used to using your left hand for writing, left hand for eating, everything. But for all the rituals, you have to use the prescribed hand and the prescribed way of doing, so that you get the benefit as told by Paramashiva. So you pour the water onto your right palm. How do you keep your right palm? You have your right palm in the blessing position first. I'm telling you the step by step how you can come to it. Every day you won't bring your hand to the blessing position and do this. To achieve the blessing position, I am telling. So now here, now what I am doing is moving my index finger. See, all that I do is the camera zoomed in? All that I do is, hand is like this, I just bring my index finger little inside. So the hand has to be in this horizontal position in the beginning, and then you take out, so all the fingers join together. In this position, I take in the index finger alone, in such a way that the index finger does not touch the middle finger nor the thumb. Are you getting it? This is the exact correct position of holding your hand for Achamanam. If need be there, you can take a screenshot of this moment. So if you see, my thumb and index finger do not touch, the middle finger and the index finger do not touch each other. So automatically your hand forms a position of cup. This is what we colloquially, just in a casual way of telling, cup your hands. It's not cup your hands. Cup your hands is this. This is Gokarna Mudra. Go means cow, Karna means ear, like the ear of a cow. This is a Gokarna Mudra. You don't bend your, you don't do a chin mudra and drink. You don't do this and drink. You hold your hand like this and just move your index finger forward or inside. That's all. Literally what you are doing is, you are removing the use of the index finger during this procedure. I can drink like this, but why I do like this is, your index finger is not supposed to be used for this, so it is removed from the contact of the index finger is taken away from the contact of other fingers. That's all it is done. So your hand is there. Within your palm, you will pour only one uddharani of water. The one uddharani should be, what does the Shastra say? How much water should be inside of your hand? How much water you should drink? So, what does the Shastra say? How much the water should be? The water should be only that much, such that the water in your hand can drown one mustard seed or one black gram seed, Bengal gram seed. Only one mustard. That is the varieties of mustard are small mustard and big mustard are there. So only one big mustard should be able to drown completely. That much of water is should be there is the exact correct amount of water that you will pour into your hand. This is achieved naturally by just seeing. It is not that you take this much of milliliter of water and take a syringe and then pour. No, you will not do it. You will just pour it. By regular use, you will get to know it. So you will pour the water in the beginning in your right palm and drink the water from your right palm. How do you drink? You keep your hands here and raise your head, so allowing the water to flow through your lower lip to your into your stomach. Okay, you will not sip like a straw, nor you should lick and drink. You should allow the water to flow into your lips. So like this you do 3 times. After the third time, see, once, twice, thrice, these 3 times of drinking of the water is done along with the chanting of some mantras internally. Because the Shastras say, when I say Shastras, here Agamas, when the Agamas say, drink the water along with the chanting of the mantra, if the moment you are drinking, at that time you will not be able to use your mouth and chant it aloud, so it is naturally chanting it inside. So you have your hand like this and drink the water 3 times along with the chanting of the mantra internally. After that, you pour a little of water in your right hand and wash your right hand. Why do you wash your right hand? I am telling in advance what we are going to do and why we will be doing what we will be doing. The reason why we wash our hand after 3 times of drinking is your hands come in contact with your lips. Sanatana Hindu Dharma is, the orthodoxy of Sanatana Hindu Dharma is very high. Saliva, your lips come in contact with your saliva. Like if I speak, I do this, salivate my lips to keep it hydrated, or I just close my lips like this. So during those moments, the lips come in contact with the saliva. Anything that gets in contact with saliva is considered impure, because saliva is also one of the internal fluids of your body's internal fluids, like how your blood, urine, etc. is there. So that is the reason you wash your hand with little water. Next, after that, you touch your body parts with your fingers as prescribed in the Agamas. Now I am going to tell you what Paramashiva tells, what the mantras are. The 3 mantras that Paramashiva tells respectively what you should be chanting while drinking the water. While drinking the water, the first mantra is Om Atma Tattvam Shodhayami Swadha. The second mantra is Om Vidya Tattvam Shodhayami Swadha. The third mantra is Om Shiva Tattvam Shodhayami Swadha. Requesting the listening of all the Nityananda Yoga teachers, so that it's a refresher for you, and any acharya who teaches yoga, you can also listen so that you can enrich the world with this knowledge. Atma Tattva. Tattva means the unit of existence. Atma Tattva, Atma means self. Atma Tattva means the unit of the existence of the self. Vidya Tattva, Vidya means the way of connecting, bridge between the self, the individual self, with the cosmos. The way you connect and experience. The second mantra is Om Vidya Tattvam Shodhayami Swadha. Vidya Tattva, the unit of existence of Vidya. Vidya, in this case, Vidya also means education. Vidya also means knowledge. Vidya also means the enlightenment itself. Here, in this context, Vidya means the method of connecting the soul, the individual soul, the Jiva, with the Ishvara. That which is being used by us for experiencing the cosmos is the Jagat, which is also called the world. The world is the medium through which we connect to the cosmos. We experience cosmos. Hence, Vidya Tattva means the unit of existence of the world according to you. Because you are doing it, so it is according to you. The third, Shiva Tattvam Shodhayami Swadha. Shiva Tattva, Shiva, who you really are, the cosmos, Paramashiva, the unit, the basic unit of existence of Shiva, Paramashiva, according to you. See, Shodhayami. See, I now explained what is Atma Tattva, the unit of existence of the self according to your own self according to you. Vidya Tattva is the unit of existence of the world, the Jagat, according to you. Shiva Tattva, the unit of existence of Shiva according to you. Shodhayami. Shodhayami means I do cleanse. I do clean it off. Swadha is a technical term or a terminology given by Paramashiva, as a mantra given by Paramashiva in the Agamas, which will have, which he says, use this at these places, which will have the effect which cannot be translated just through words, through which you can have the experience as a result. There are many words Paramashiva gives, like Swadha, Swaha, Vaushat, Vashat, Humpat, etc., which does not have a like a word meaning, but has a phonetic effect in the system, and which goes inside of our system and does the job. As I already told, that Samskrita Bhasha is used not only to communicate but also to give the energy experience, transmit the energy. Now, I cleanse, I clean off the unit of existence of my own self as per my own self. I clean off the unit of existence as unit of existence of the world according to me. I clean off the unit of existence of Paramashiva according to me. These three are the literal meanings. What happens? What does it mean? The image you carry about you. The reality is you are Paramashiva, I am Paramashiva, but that is not the way we cognize ourselves always. So when Paramashiva asks us to repeat these mantras, he invokes the Paramashivatva, his own Paramashivatva, and cleanses off whatever ideas, false ideas that we carry, any idea about us other than that we are Paramashiva, everything else is false. So you cleanse off any idea that you have about you. The whole world is made just out of Paramashiva. So the whole world is Paramashiva. Any idea that you have about the world other than that it is Paramashiva itself is falsity, and you clean off that idea that you have within you. Third, you may have idea about Paramashiva. Paramashiva is compassionate, Paramashiva is harsh towards me, he is not opening his eyes towards me, etc., etc. As a devotee, you may have so many ideas according to you. The cleansing of that idea that you have even about Paramashiva and establishing yourself, you are establishing your idea about Paramashiva with the true identity of true state of Paramashivatva, the state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is the pure unclutched space, is what is supposed to happen by these, the effect of it. After this, you touch various parts of the body, as I told. What are the benefits of touching the various parts of the body? You touch after this here with these fingers, and then all these places. I am quoting in the so in the Kamika Agama, which is one of the Agamas revealed by Paramashiva, in the Purva Kamika Agama, which is the first part, there are first two parts, the previous part and the latter part. The previous part, which is Purva Kamika Agama, in the Snana Vidhi Patalam, the chapter wherein Paramashiva explains about cleansing of one own a being, cleansing, how to clean off your body, how to take bath, etc. In that, Paramashiva explains He should touch his ears. So Paramashiva tells, Rigveda, Yajurveda and Samaveda are pleased when the sadhaka takes 3 sips of water. When he drinks the water 3 times, the Rigveda, the Yajurveda and the Samaveda get pleased and he receives the blessings and the grace of the 3 Vedas. When he wipes off his lips twice, Atharva Veda and the Itihasas as Ramayana and Mahabharata, they get pleased. Ganesha gets delighted when he wipes the mouth. The great sages get delighted when he touches the chest and the head. When he touches his eyes, the sun and moon are pleased. When he touches his nostrils, Ashwini Devas get delighted. When he touches his ears, the directional deities, that is the Ashtadikpalakas, get delighted. When he touches his arms, navel and heart, Indra, Vishnu and Agnideva get delighted. When Paramashiva tells, when you touch these body parts, these deities get delighted. What does it mean? Your whole body is representation. Your whole body is the your whole body and who you are is the microcosm, and it is a direct representation of the macrocosm. The various energies of the macrocosm, Paramashiva, the cosmic energy in the form of providing light to the whole world is sun, and providing the cool soothing light during the night time is moon. They all reside in your own body in the form of sun here, moon in your left eye, Ashwini Devas in your ears. Like that, all the Devatas, deities. So going forward, instead of using the word deities, I am going to use the word Devata. Devata literally means God. All these Devatas reside in your body, and when you touch those parts of the body with the specific fingers, or the joining of the specific fingers as prescribed by Paramashiva, you invoke the grace and blessings of those Devatas who reside in you, within your body, and who reside in the cosmos also, in the macrocosm also. So what happens when they get pleased? All those energies you become one. You experience oneness with your being, experiences oneness with those Devatas, and as a result, all those Devatas, all those energies in the cosmos start becoming favorable to you. It is not doing a favor. Because you get in tune with them, your life starts becoming smoothly going. So this is what Paramashiva tells in the how to do the Achamanam. Specifically, one more thing. Paramashiva in the Kamikagama says, the Moolagama says, the typical exact instructions: wash your hands and legs with clean water before doing the Achamana, means before coming for a ritual. Wash your hands and legs with clean water. The Moolagama, the Kamikagama says, wash the leg up till the knee and hands up till the wrists. Need to be washed. Then the Acharya, means the Sadhaka, the practitioner, needs to sit in Kukkutasana. This is not the Kukkutasana which you do in the 108 asanas. This is this Kukkutasana. I'll show you. You can. This squatting position, wherein you are sitting squatted and both your elbows are in between your knees, is called the Kukkutasana as per the Kamikagama. Then the sadhaka should sit in the Kukkutasana with his hands inside the knees and have his shikha, hair or jatas, tied, and should either be facing the eastern direction or the northern direction while performing the Achamanam. This instruction is from the Kamikagama. The direction in which you will be facing to do the Achamana exactly should be either facing east or facing north. For this you need not keep a compass and draw a line, but if you know that your house is facing towards east, you can face towards the entrance of your house. Visualize the water as the embodiment, the water in the Panchapatram, the cup, as the embodiment of Chandra, the moon, if it is Shukla Paksha, that is, if it is a time from the next day of no moon day till the new moon day, till the no moon day, till from the no moon day till the new moon day is called the Shukla Paksha. And if it is during that period of time, then visualize the water to be the embodiment of Chandra, and visualize the water to be the embodiment of Surya if it is Krishna Paksha, that is from the next day of the full moon day till the no moon day. Till that time, you need to be aware of what the phase of moon that day is, whether the phase of moon has started to that time or not, to be exactly correct. So I am telling you all this so that it is an opportunity for all of us to learn the Shastra as per exact words of Paramashiva, and then you do the Achamana. So this is what Paramashiva says about the Achamanam. So again tell, the direction are facing east and north, and to be seated in the Kukkutasana, wherein you are sitting squatted. When you are sitting in the squatting position, understand that whole of your soul, the full sole of your foot, both the feet, should be on the ground. Not that you will be standing on the toes, like how you, after doing a sport, you sit down and give a pose. It's not that pose. You sit squatting with your whole, the heels as well as the toes of your foot, both the feet, completely laid on the ground, and then your knees are spread apart and your both the elbows are within your hands, and then you sip the water. This is the position. Okay, so why we do, now I told you why we do the Achamanam, what happens. So for example, that is why even after the Guru Puja, before starting the Shiva Puja, you do the Achamanam. Why do you do the Achamanam? For the devotee who performs that puja to be moving from the bhava, the emotion in which he is connected with the Guru, to move off, and so he is in the neutral space of the unclutched space, and he can enter into the emotion, bhava of performing puja to Paramashiva, Shiva, in the form of a Shivalinga itself. So this is the reason, even in between the Guru Puja and the Shiva Puja, we do perform the Achamana. After the performance of the Shiva Puja, we do Achamana for us, so that the space what you carry during the puja gets completed, so that you are all set ready to start some other new venture, some other new action. So having said this, I'll continue about how to do I'll teach you how to do the Achamana exactly with the Panchapatram and Uddharani in the next session. Now today let's come back to the Aksharas. So revising what we learnt yesterday. So all of you please carefully start learning. All the Nityananda Yoga teachers also please start learning this script, because this is an opportunity for us to start reading the pramanas directly, start reading the all the scriptures directly from the Devanagari. So use this opportunity promptly. So this is a a a e e u oo, or you can write this way also, r r l l a I O au. These are called the Swaraksharani. Swara Aksharani. Swara means basically sound, because all these create sound. So these are all called Swara Aksharani. Swara means sound, like a, u, e. All these create sound. When I say if I want to pronounce this just K, not just K. If I am saying K-I-T-E, kite, remove that. What is it? This is it. This is kite. So what is this pronounced as? K. So it doesn't create any sound. So they are not called swara, because these sounds create that sound. These alphabets, these aksharas create the sound. These are called swara aksharani. The next two are aha. It is not just araha. This a is just as a substitute. It can be any of the swarakshara, any of these swaraksharas. It can be am, im, rim, lum, yem, aim, om, aum. I am using the first just for example. This dot represents the sound of a makara or sound of an This is called, the dot represent means is called anuswaraha. When we say, when later when we say there is an anuswara, we will not say there is a dot. So you need to remember this technical name, anuswara. Coming down here, aha. This you have a two double dot here, like a colon, which is called visarga. We will not be saying there are two dots or a colon, so we will be calling this as visarga. Like this, like how I said im, everything can be included. Same way here also, this visarga can be suffixed to any of these swaraksharas. If it is suffixed next to the, here it is aha. This is how it will be pronounced is aha. This is ihi, ihi, uhu, uhu, ruh, ruh, luh, luh, ehe, aihi, auhu, sorry, oho, auhu. Now, if you notice the pronunciation, aha, this you won't say aha, this is aha. Like suppose if I am keeping a pen here and just if I am drawing like this, it's a line. Focus please. See, if I am drawing a line like this, this is a, I start at a point, at a end at a point. This is a way. It starts and gets thinned at the end. It does not have a thick end. How it starts? It may start with 2 mm thickness. It ends also with 2 mm thickness. It starts with 2 mm thickness. It just gets diffused. Gets like that. The sound of H starts aha. This is aha. This is aha. Same way, this is aha, ihi, ihi. You won't say aha, aha, iha, iha, uha, uha. No. Aha, aha, ihi, ihi, uhu, uhu, ruh, ruh, luh, luh, ehe, aihi, oho, auhu. So, if you see, I can take this as an example for you to teach how you actually arrive at the pronunciation with the these two. Au, here I have written in English, so for you to can understand. Au, and I say auhu. So the au contains a, u, both sounds. The H. After this, you have a trace of the sound which is preceding this H. In this case, aihi. You have the trace of the sound after the H, that same sound which is preceding that H. In this case, r, it starts with saying r and then r, and hence rh. It's not rh. It is rh. Sorry, rh, rh, rh. Both these cases, in the case of a long and a short, for example, ihi, ihi. In both the cases, the length of the pronunciation of that visarga will be same, irrespective of the length of these two. It can be a bit confusing in the beginning, but it is worth noting it down now, because it is an online session where you watch this session and get to learn. Making note of this, just make note of what you understand and what I told, so that later when you struggle to read, how will I read this? You may be reading it as Lakshmiha instead of saying Lakshmihi. So at that time you can remember this. This can, learning of what I am teaching now will help you at later point of time. Learning of what you learn later will help you understanding this what I am teaching now. So this these two go hand in hand. So please do make note of it, what I told. One more important thing, if those of you who speak Hindi, this is not kr and this is not lr. Those of you have already learned Sanskrit, some may have learnt it wrongly as this is lr. This is not lr, this is l, because this is a swarakshara. This is not a combination of la and r. This is this itself is a swarakshara vowel, and hence this needs to be pronounced as only as l. This note goes for those who have already learned Sanskrit, but you may have learnt it otherwise. This note is for those who those who speak Hindi, who have learnt Hindi, but you learnt it as kr, which is wrong. Just one note that I need to make: this l sometimes may not be included within this swara akshara. That's all. Means this may not be taught, but still is there. So I give half a minute for all of you if you want to make note anything, or else I'll erase it off. So now we'll start learning the Vyanjanaksharani. The first Vyanjana, please see how you write is also important. First is ka. When I say ka, the a sound is added just for enabling the pronunciation. Sorry, this is not. I again write again and again over it. Please note it and please write in your notebook also. Start from here, take it up, bring it down, and then take it down. It is not you don't write this way. Sorry, you don't write this way. The correct right way of writing is go up, come down. This is ka. Next is kha. Third is ga. Gha. Nga. ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. Like how you say in Ganga. So this is ka. The next one is kha. Ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. Next is cha. I write again it above it itself, over it. 1, cha. Cha. Ja. Ja. Nya. Sorry, this is dot above. Correcting. I just made a correction here. The international transliteration notation is not this one. For this only it is Ganga. For this is, if you say munch. Next is ta, tha, da, dha, na. So this is ta, tha, da, dha, na. Na. Next is ta, tha, dha, sorry, da, dha, na. You can take a screenshot of it, of this board. I'll write it again here so that it's dark enough. So you can take a screenshot of it. Please do write it and practice, and also write it and keep it in a place where you will again and again see. That is the way you will remember it. The more and more number of times you see somebody's face, you remember them and you remember their name. Same way, the more and more you see these aksharas, see these script, Devanagari script, you will remember them. So take a screenshot of it and save it for yourself, and will continue the rest of the Vyanjana Aksharas as well as how to do the Achamana tomorrow in the next session. We will conclude today's session with the chanting of the Purna Mantra, having offered our humble respects and gratitude at the feet of His Divine Holiness, the Avatar Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Paramashivam, our most beloved Swamiji. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tatsat. Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nityananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. Thank you, Nityanandam.